start lying. Haul it. Run, Angel Boy, you ain't running.
There's not enough wind.
Did I say anything about wind?
How'd you do that?
It's a God thing.
Windowsill. You know, it's one of my favorite words. Windowsill. Not much to look at in English, but in Chinese, it's practically a work of art.
Windowsill?
I was just brushing up on my calligraphy to get ready. Tess, did you know that the Great Wall of China is the only man-made structure that you can see from the moon if you looked with the naked eye?
Yes, and did you know that you will never have to write the word windowsill in Chinese? Andrew, get the kite back.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when do we leave?
Right now. Baby girl, when you stand on the moon, what do you see besides the Great Wall?
Oceans? Mountains?
Do you see any little squiggly lines?
What do you mean?
Like, boundaries and international borders.
The reason you don't see that when you stand on the moon is because God didn't draw lines on the earth. People did. They drew some lines to keep people out, and then they drew some lines to keep people in. But some things just won't stay put, like ideas, important ideas. An idea is like this kite here. If you put enough wind underneath it, it's gonna take off. And it's not gonna know whether it crossed somebody else's boundaries or not. It's just gonna fly, because it's got to, because it's got this wind underneath it. That's what we're going to be, somebody's wind. This does not have anything to do with flags, country, or politics. This has to do with human hearts.
Over at Good Fun Toys. No, we're only going to consider this if it makes sense for us internationally, okay? Alex wants China. I'm leaning toward Mexico.
I know that man has a good heart. It's like a diamond hidden in the ashes. It's going to take some work to find it.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done here. Work that could change many lives. Because the courage of one single person can change history. But only if they answer the call when it comes. Now, for that man...
Well, then go ahead. Convince me. Pardon me.
The chance may only come once, and he may not even recognize it. For that woman, the chance will come for the second time in her life, and she will recognize it. And that may be why she'll say no. When you walk down the road, heavy burden, heavy load, I will rise and I will walk with you. I'll walk with you till the sun don't even shine. Walk with you every time. I tell you, I'll walk with you. Walk with you. Believe me, I'll walk with you.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Tanner.
Is Alex here?
Already in your office. Wait. I need you to sign these right away.
I don't know. It doesn't turn on, it doesn't light up, it doesn't shoot anybody. Kids are more sophisticated these days. I'm afraid it's just not our kind of toy.
But this is not necessarily designed for children. It's portable. It'll fit right in your briefcase.
Why would I want to fly a kite?
Well, I can think of a few reasons. For one, you're a toy maker.
No, I'm a lawyer.
There you go. Then you really need to go fly a kite. This kite is guaranteed to fly. Anytime, anywhere, wind or no wind.
That's impossible.
See for yourself.
Well, like I said, we're not interested in kites, but there's some kind of technology here we can use. Oh,
Morning, Alex.
Edward. This lady was just leaving.
Hello, Mr. Tanner.
Hello.
She's an inventor. Interesting kite theory.
You see, the kite is like the soul. Everybody wants to fly, Mr. Tanner.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll be in touch.
Well, goodbye.
Portable kite.
Inventors after a big weekend. They always show up on Monday. How was your weekend?
Fantastic. Did you watch the game?
Did we graduate from Syracuse?
Barely. Listen, Isaacson called. Stockholders are getting really nervous. We've got to lower costs.
Well, then we can't put it off anymore. We gotta shut down the plants down south and set up in China.
What's wrong with Mexico?
Nothing. But China is the Mexico of the future.
Remind me never to transfer you to public relations.
Look, China is wide open. I mean, everything is coming out of there. Look. Made in China. Made in China. Oh, made in China. Everybody's going there. Plus, we got a lot of interest.
What's this?
Letters of introduction, inquiries, business proposals from Chinese export companies, investment companies. The labor's cheap, the material's cheap. There are people in there knocking down our door wanting to save us money.
What do we know about China?
Nothing. So, we hire a consultant. She walks us through the import-export game.
She?
Uh-huh. Her name's Monica. She's coming in at 9. She's got great references, and she really seems to understand the whole Pacific Rim thing.
Let me guess. She's pretty.
Yeah. So?
Hello. I have an appointment with Mr. Tanner, Mr. Stella at 9 o'clock.
That's his office right there.
Thank you.
Oh, Monica, right on time.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Edward. Mind if we talk outside?
No.
He's brilliant. He's quirky, but he's brilliant.
This is a physical impossibility.
It's a beautiful sight, isn't it?
Yeah. Tell him about Beijing.
Yes, of course. Recent economic reforms in China have made rather dramatic business opportunities possible for many American companies. I've reviewed your annual reports for the last 5 years, along with letters of interest from Chinese trade representatives, particularly in Beijing, and I believe that...
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Alex says we should go to China. That's what I pay him for. We go to China. What am I going to pay you for?
Well, she's going to go with us to Beijing. She'll make the contacts, evaluate the offers, negotiate the trade agreements.
You speak Chinese?
Some, but I'd feel better if we hired a translator.
You got someone you work with?
No, I think it would be best if there was someone in your company who spoke the language, someone who already knows the toy business.
There's that girl in contracts, Jean something.
Right. She looks Chinese.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Fine. At the same time, figure out how this thing works. Fascinating.
We're planning a fact-finding trip to Beijing, and we need a translator. Do you speak Chinese?
Because I look Chinese to you?
Well, to be honest,
I do not speak Chinese, Mr. Stella. I am Korean. I was born in Seoul and raised in the United States.
oh, sorry. I just thought that...
Because I look Oriental. Because my last name is Zhang.
None of us meant any disrespect, Miss Chang.
Yeah. Honest mistake.
I've been in this company for 3 years. And I've never been invited to this office. It has at least been enlightening.
Well, thanks for coming in. We'll see you around.
She looks promising.
Forget it. Not Chinese. Chang. That's Chinese, right?
It's Korean, too.
Never mind. You have plans for lunch?
Oh, yeah.
No.
No.
Good. We can start going over these proposals.
I know a good restaurant.
Alex, use a fork.
I'm getting it.
Well, these top 4 companies seem to be the most likely candidates for joint venture.
Yeah, but we can't buy, though, you know. We can only subcontract.
Yes. A lot has changed for them with this new open-door trade policy. No one particularly wants to go back to the days of Mao and state-run businesses, but economic freedom brings with it all the problems that come with free society, like crime, corruption.
Do they have the internet?
Yes, but some email, and most websites are still filtered through government censors. Some things haven't changed.
Yeah. Well, that's not our problem. We're not interested in politics, just money. Right, Edward?
That girl's name in contracts. Wasn't it Jean?
I told you. Korean.
Looks like this is Jean's favorite restaurant, too.
要杯茶好吗？
It's Chinese she speaks. Is that Chinese she's speaking?
Yes, it's Mandarin. And that is a Chinese newspaper.
Alex. Alex.
Excuse me. But are you sitting in a Chinese restaurant, reading a Chinese newspaper, ordering a Chinese lunch in Chinese?
Mr. Stella,
Forgive me, maybe I'm missing something here, but you are an employee of Tanner Toys, and if you're lying about this, I think I have a right to know what else you're lying about.
Now, don't this beat all? Mr. Stella! Excuse me for dragging him away, but we have something to discuss. Imagine us both getting a yen for Chinese on the same day. I got a whole new angle about that itty-bitty kite thing.
I apologize for my partner, Alex. He's a terrific lawyer. He's just not really good with people.
I am embarrassed. It's true. I lied to you today. I am Chinese. I was born in Beijing.
You don't owe us an explanation.
Yes, I do. Because I am a person of honor. At least I try to be. I want you to know I would like to go to Beijing with you very much. But I can't.
We understand.
No. I want you to truly understand. If I ever went to Beijing again, I would never come back alive.
You won't come back from Beijing alive. That sounds a little dramatic.
It's part truth, part premonition, perhaps. But as much as I dream of returning to my home, it is an impossibility now.
So you were born in China?
Yes, in Beijing.
Mr. Stella, this kite just soars.
It looks like we have lots of time. We'd love to hear your story.
Or not.
Business purposes. Background research.
For the business, then.
Everything you say will remain between us.
You have heard of Tiananmen Square.
As much as any American, yeah.
Most of the people in the United States just remember one picture of that summer in 1989.
The student standing in front of the tank.
Yes, he was very brave. But there were many students, and I was one of them. I was a small child during the Cultural Revolution. It was a terrible, cruel time for my country.
I remember teachers, intellectuals, anyone suspected to be an enemy of the people was in danger.
Great danger. They were arrested and sent to labor camps for re-education. Many were tortured and murdered. My parents were professors at the university. One day, the Red Guard burst into my father's office and dragged him into the street and beat him. They forced him to confess his crimes against the revolution. It was a great humiliation for him. He committed suicide, and my mother became ill. Because of my father, she didn't receive the proper medical care. She died, and I found my way to a state orphanage in the country. It was very hard and very lonely. I thought this was the way the world was. You own nothing of your own. You think nothing of your own. And you don't dare to hope for something better. One day, a man in town who was discovered to be hiding counter-revolutionary materials. I remember how warm the fire was that burned his books. And I remember stealing one. It was a terribly dangerous thing to do. But even as a little girl, I knew I had nothing to lose. And what I saw inside that book changed my life. I couldn't read the words, but there was a picture in the front of a beautiful lady. She held her head up. She didn't seem to be afraid. I wanted to be like her. It was the only thing that was mine. And sometimes it was the only thing that kept me alive. 10 years later, Mao was dead, and soon China had a new open-door policy with the West. I made my way to Beijing and determined to learn how to read my books. I went to school and studied English. I met my husband at the university, and Gus and I and his best friend George hung out together. We devoured anything from the West: music, art, literature. Your husband's name is Gus? We gave each other nicknames. So, our friend Wei Guo called himself George after George Washington. And we called my husband Gus after Auguste Rodin, the artist who sculpted the thinker. My husband was very serious.
Was?
I'm jumping ahead. Once I started to learn a little English, I bought a travel book for America. I'll never forget standing there in the middle of the street and seeing her again. There was a lady in my very first book, the Statue of Liberty. With the population growing so quickly, we were encouraged to have only one child. In that case, most everyone wanted a boy. That day I realized that the Statue of Liberty was a woman. If there's a place in this world where a woman could become the symbol of freedom, then there was hope for me and for my daughter.
You had a little girl.
Yes. I named her Piao Yue. It means free moon. In English, I called her Liberty Moon.
Where is she?
I don't know. Sorry, excuse me for a moment, please.
You're not listening to me. This kite doesn't even need any wind to fly.
I'll be right back. Hi, do me a favor. Check your watch and shake your head. Good, good. Now frown a little bit. And shrug like there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, darn! I wish I could stay, but we've got a conference call to Hong Kong back at the office. I gotta go. It was so nice to see you again. Come on, let's get out of here.
You go on, I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Mr. Tanner, have you tried out my kite?
Yes, I have. It's amazing. I'd like to take it with me to China. See what they think about it over there.
Oh, they're gonna love it. Have a nice day.
We get a lot of crazy inventors in the toy business.
You seem like a very serious fellow. What are you doing making toys?
I'm just living the childhood I never got as a kid. Or maybe I'm just making money. Parents will spend a lot more on their children than they will on themselves, you know.
I think parents will do that anywhere. Do you have children?
Never married.
Why not?
Never found the right one.
Forgive me. Have I bored you enough with my story? Hold them like this. Just the top one moves.
Tell us more about your husband.
Gus was the one who convinced me that some form of democracy was the only way to push my country forward. Gus and I and George began to publish books, articles, calling for reform. It was very risky. Many activists had already been sentenced to prison and punished severely for criticizing the government. But nevertheless, we believed so strongly that it was our time to stand up, to become the voice of the people who long for change. It was a very exciting time. We were just students leading peaceful protests, asking only for our leaders to listen to our ideas for reform. But to our amazement, the citizens turned out to support us. The marches got larger and larger. People were excited and hopeful for the first time in years. There were demonstrations all over China.
I remember the government was infuriated, wasn't it?
Yes. Saving face is very important for Chinese. We embarrassed our leaders in front of the world. We were now traitors to them, and they would never forgive us. George was afraid. He would babysit Piao Yue. He never spoke out. I don't blame him. We all must follow our conscience. That's why my husband decided to join the hunger strikers. Everyone was there the last few nights, remembers it differently. But none of us would forget the night they erected the goddess of democracy. We've been in the square for 17 days, and morale was very low. Then the students from the art college surprised us with our very own Statue of Liberty. I remembered again all my dreams and hopes for my people. And it was last time we were happy.
You brought your little girl to the square?
Yes. You must understand how we felt. I want Liberty Moon to always be able to say that she was there when democracy was born. I remember thinking about the moon because I was showing my little girl what her name meant in English: liberty, a flame of freedom, just like the American Statue of Liberty. At the moon, I told her, no matter where she was, if she ever felt lost or alone, if she ever needed me, she could always look up at the moon and know I was somewhere looking at it too.
Jean, if this is difficult for you, you don't have to...
No. I want you to understand. The military moved in and surrounded us. It was only a matter of hours before the crackdown would come. Gus wouldn't leave. I took Piaoyue home, left her with George. I ran back to find my husband. It's funny. No one ever believed they would use real bullets. They killed many people that night. And the next few days, I tried to find Gus, but I never did. I heard later he was shot in the back. I looked for him in the hospitals, but it was chaos. Within hours, they were arresting all our friends. And I realized I was in danger too. I ran back home to fight George and Piaoyue. I never found my husband. I never found George. And I never found my little girl. Then I realized I was a wanted person.
You hid in a cupboard?
I spent several days there, then left. I knew George was too afraid to ever come back to the house.
You ever heard from George?
No. I have tried to find him. He may have changed his name. I'm afraid if I try too hard, it would only jeopardize his new life.
And Liberty Moon?
Chinese people are good people. They love children. George has taken care of her. I'm sure of it. No one wants her fortune cookie. We don't have them in China, you know.
I guess it's only in America that you can have the liberty to crack open your own fortune. I already know what mine would say. Go home. Count your blessings. I'm sorry that didn't come out right.
No, it did. I have many blessings too, Mr. Tanner. I am alive. I am free. And there's always the moon to look at. Goodbye.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Have you gone through these files with Alex?
No, why?
There's a proposal here. I think you should see.
I just don't believe in coincidence.
This has been put into your hands for a reason.
Why? So I can tell Jean there's a company named Liberty Moon and she can spend the rest of her life wondering about it.
So she can do something about it.
But she can't go back to China.
Not without help.
No. Look, no way. Forget it. I'm not getting involved in this.
She'd have a better chance of getting into Beijing if she went with a group of business people.
Forget it. I can't take the risk. Besides, what can one man do anyway?
He can stand up, just like Jean stood up.
Monica, I'm just a businessman.
And Jean was just a student. Think about the look of courage on that woman's face. I know you saw it. And now ask yourself, would I have the same courage to stand up when it counts? Well, this is your chance to find out. This is your chance to make a difference.
I don't want to make a difference. I just want to make a profit.
Edward, what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul?
I lost my soul a long time ago.
No, you didn't. You locked it away somewhere. Like that portable kite in your briefcase. You only take it out to analyze it, but you never really let go. Never really let it fly. But flying, Edward, that's what souls were made for. And yes, the higher you dare to fly, the farther you may fall, but at least you will have flown.
All right. But don't tell Alex. Blow a gasket.
Monica found this in the files.
It's a consulting firm in Beijing that helps American companies open manufacturing plants and manage them.
Now, there's nothing here to indicate that this man is your friend George.
But it's the same Liberty Moon design.
It is signed by Wu Faguo. George's name was Wu Weiguo. They're very similar. He could have changed his name. George never did like his name.
It's a long shot. But if you think it's worth looking into.
To see my daughter again, Mr. Tanner, it is worth my life. It's not going to work.
Don't worry. The worst thing that can happen is at customs, they look at your passport, they see that it's expired, and they send you back.
It's a strange feeling, trying to sneak back into my own country.
Ladies and gentlemen, our estimated flying time to Beijing is 22 hours, 18 minutes. Those of you on the left side of the cabin can see the Statue of Liberty out your window.
We've got 6 hot prospects lined up. Still not sold on this Liberty Moon outfit. Oh, can I get some coffee here, please?
2. This seems a little small for us, I know, but that could mean just a little more personal attention. We're gonna be in business with these people for a long time. Hey, Al?
Hmm?
What do you think about human rights?
Everyone's got the right to be human.
You know what I mean? People are saying we're a little soft on China because of their position on human rights.
Since when did you get so interested in your fellow man? Or is that your fellow woman? Look, forget it. She's a cold fish.
Don't worry, it'll be fine. Oh, my goodness. How embarrassing. I'm so sorry. I'm in the toy business. It's a business trip. Excuse me, sir. Could you pass me those chattering teeth? Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you. Oh, I'm silly. Oh, thank you.
It's my pleasure.
It's amazing. It all changes so much.
Fast food joints, amusement parks, shopping malls. 5,000 years of keeping Western culture out, you know?
It only took 10 years to turn it into New Jersey. Tell them we're the Tanner Toy People, and we have 4 suites reserved.
Yes, we've been expecting you.
Oh,
I'll have a bellman show you to your rooms, and I have a message for Mr. Tanner.
It's me.
Yes, Mr. Wu is waiting for you at the bar.
This must be him.
Mr. Tanner.
Yes, Mr. Wu.
Yes, but please call me George. It's presumptuous of me, but I thought I would invite you to dinner tonight before we have business tomorrow.
Thank you. That'd be great. This is my associate, Alex Stella.
how are you?
Ah, nice to meet you.
Trade consultant, Monica.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
And our interpreter, Jean Chang.
I'm sorry, my English is weak sometimes. Allow me to speak Chinese.
Of course.
George，你好吗？
你怎么会来的？
这不重要，我女儿在哪儿？
我不知道你在说什么。我不认识你女儿，我也不认识你。Forgive me, please. My plans have changed. I cannot guarantee that we can do business together. Perhaps we can meet in the future. Excuse me.
What the hell was that about? She knows him. Oh. Yeah, great. That's great. The most populated country in the world, and she runs into an old boyfriend. I'm going to my room.
That was George. He says he doesn't know who I am, and he's never heard of my daughter. He's afraid. He must be very afraid.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Do you speak English?
Yes, I do. Can I help you?
Yes, you can. What is the name of this garden?
Garden of Peaceful Memory.
Peaceful memories. That's beautiful. I guess you have to plant pretty early to grow memories like that, huh? Well, we can't do anything about today's flowers. But if we could plant some peaceful memories for next year, boy, wouldn't that be something?
Yes, I suppose so.
Good. I'll see you later.
It's my old alley. We call them hutong. This one's called the hutong of yellow canaries. This was my home. Here, Xiaoyu played with a neighbor's kitten. Over here, God would sit and write his poetry in the sun.
He was a poet?
Yes. Oh, I'd almost forgotten. We always kept copies in here, in case we were searched.
I can't read it.
It's funny to watch my little girl. She toddles along the hutong. Where she go here, where she go there. She plops down on her bottom. She screams with delight. She'll go wherever she likes. She'll cry out with a happy voice any word that comes to mind. How long will it last, this childhood of Liberty Moon? What must I do to save China?
You are the bravest person I know.
Where have you been?
Jean took me on a tour.
Oh. Okay. By the way, that nutty guy called back.
George?
Yeah. He wants to set up a meeting tomorrow.
Great.
Everything we've seen today is suitable for a joint venture project.
This one's a little different from the others, isn't it?
Yes, it was put on my list at the last minute. I thought it might be worth a look. It's an older building that the state can renovate to your specification.
喂，你们是什么人？在这里干什么？
你干什么？
What's going on?
The soldiers asking what we're doing here. George says we're here on business to look for factory space. The soldier says this is impossible. No foreigners allowed here. George was confused. He was told this was to be renovated. The soldier says yes. But no one can enter until the prisoners leave.
We have 5 minutes.
For what?